Come to Remora TC to trade like a shark and not get eaten by one. Let's school together to protect and grow our money.
Hi everyone, it is Wednesday, August 19th. The market's just closed. Let's take a look at the set of tickers we've been reviewing for a while. We'll start with the bullish ones first, and then we'll get to some of the bearish trades. Whirlpool here. Overall, the direction in the past week, you can see, has been to the downside. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, very much to the downside, but the momentum hasn't changed. Okay, you might say that, hey, your prediction of upward prices didn't hold here at 42-ish. You would be correct, it didn't hold, but there is no change in momentum. So I'm just going to slide my prediction over to the right, because right now there's no change. I still feel that the overall direction is upward, and I'll just kind of go like that. The first area of resistance is this gap entry right here. And you could also say that the 200-day located right here, this purple line, I'm going to extend it. Give me a second here. Purple line, extend it like that. Okay, that's also resistance. So I'll put a zone of resistance all along here as well. Okay, but despite that, the overall direction remains to the upside. Okay, so gap entry, and the 200-day, I'm going to redraw it just because the angle is a little bit different now. I'll kind of go like this, make it blue. And there you have it. So that's Whirlpool. It's still a good setup for a long trade. If you can get it at 42-ish, okay, I put the green here as support. If you can get it around there, perfect. Okay, that would be a nice entry. Let's go over to Nike. That's the next one. My prediction is to the upside. Let me just kind of extend that real quick. Kind of extend a few lines and then I'll talk about it. Extend this one like that. All right. So I was hoping, and I will use the word hope, because my prediction was and remains to the upside for Nike, the price would be above this green line here, this green trend line area, because that would be a good entry. Over the past week, you can see that price has moved downward, okay, against my prediction. But my prediction hasn't changed. It's not changing. It is to the upside. This is still a good setup. Just wait for price to get above here, above this red trend line, and use it as support for a long. It's still a good trade long. Okay. The momentum remains to the upside. Okay. If you switch to the weekly, let's switch to the weekly real quick. The weekly chart, you can see price is moving downward. Okay, it's that angle downward, but you can see momentum is to the upside. Okay, so it's just a matter of time that the whales will really buy in, and everybody else will begin to see it after the whales have already started their buying. So I'm looking for the gap fill. That's the first zone of resistance. You could say the gap entry is resistance, but for this one, I think it's really a gap fill. Okay. All right. Over to Northrop next. All right. My chart is slow to update. There it is, finally. All right. Well, Northrop is behaving as I predicted. I talked all about the whales here, the momentum change. And yeah, price is moving in the direction I predicted. So the first area of resistance, let's clarify this for everybody real quick. Give me a second here. I'm going to extend this trend line and then extend the 200-day, redraw the 200-day in fact. And then let's talk about where resistance will be, where you should consider taking your profits if you're in long, because I said, hey, this is a good setup for a long. All right, so The first zone of resistance is the 200-day. Okay. Actually, no, I would even say it's the purple line. So if you got in the trade from where it was down here up to here, that's about 12% or more, depending on where you entered. And for the time being, the direction remains to the upside. Okay. I'll just kind of go like this. Resistance is here at 608, up thereabouts. Okay. 200 is there. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens. Let price get above the purple trend line before we decide to add to our position. So if you're in this position and you took this trade from, down here up to here, and that's a 12, 15% gain for you, take your profits here. It'll get rejected. Price will get rejected. So Northrop, 200 days up here. Resistance is in this spot up here where the purple trend line is. There may be some rejection along the 200-day, but the first zone where you should take profit, if you're in this trade from down here up to here, about 12, 15%, take your profit here. And then we will reassess when price hits this zone and see if it's going to be a temporary move down, how long it'll be down there. But I really do feel this overall, yeah, it may even get up to here, but let's deal with it once it gets to the purple trend line first. Let's go over to GDX. All right, this one has been pretty volatile to the upside. I informed everybody of the long trade, okay, put the whales down here. I said, hey, this is time to get in. And you can see that price has been creating a lot of gaps. There's a lot of gaps, okay? There's a gap here, and there's even a gap here. I'll draw it now because I didn't draw it the other day, about a week ago. So there's a gap up here. And then price is even up here. I mean, there's another gap. So what I want to do is I want to first remove my annotations. My prediction is still to the upside for GDX, okay? And it's played out. But let's see how far upside we need to consider. So this all played out well, okay? But all these gaps leave me a little bit hesitant for those who want to stay in the trade longer. What I do see, okay, let's talk about price action. A lot of gaps, and today's price action, it gapped up. I'm going to zoom in real quick. Zoom in to this right here, where the red line, this red candle, the gap, the box should be up to that. Yep. Okay, so I just redrew the box a little bit just so that's cleaner. It's right here where the red line starts, okay? And as you go over here, you can see what price did today. It opened above the gap and then used it as support, pushed it up with some decent volume, I would say, down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to annotate a zone of support here. This is decent support. Make it green. What does that mean? That means in the near term, the price is going to use this as support. And the question is, did the momentum change? And I can see, I'm going to zoom into the momentum here a little bit. I can see a slight momentum, bearish momentum beginning to grow, to appear. Okay, there's some bearishness here. Ever so slightly. I'm going to zoom in some more just so we can see it more clearly. Okay, so let's look at this. This peak is, I mean, it's so ever so faint. But when you compare it with, I'm going to make this red. Okay, make it red, make it a double line, in fact. Double pixel. All right, see, it's downward. Momentum is downward. Okay. Price is upward, up here. Price is upward, momentum is downward. So there's some divergence. Does that mean that price is going to begin to drop? No. What it means is the sharks are beginning to inform one another to get out of the trade. Now, where will they get out? I think they're going to get out at resistance up here. The resistance of, what is this line? It's like $98 or so. $99. This might be a zone of resistance here. In fact, let's zoom out a little bit. I just want to see how prices behave along this 98. So, all right, I'm going to put a resistance here real quick. There's some resistance here along 98, 99, okay. But it's possible that they may attempt, once more, to push price up into perhaps an attempt for gap entry up here. Because this is not a lot of bearish momentum to warrant a change. What may happen, more likely to happen, yeah, actually I'm going to redraw this real quick. What I think will happen is price is going to come through and it will ping pong around here. It'll bounce around here. Okay. It may even come back below the gap, hit the 200-day. Let me redraw the 200-day. 200 days. It's going to come out this way, so let's do that. It's going to go like, make this blue. All right, so I think it may come up into that area and pose resistance, excuse me, support. So come back down, hit the 200-day. It may do something like this, okay? All right. Because I don't think there's enough momentum change to warrant an actual full move to the downside. I think it'll be a temporary move to the downside, an attempt to break the 200-day, but I think there's enough positive volume. There's a decent volume here, 44 million shares. I mean, this is decent volume, and it's coming in. So, yeah, still to the upside for GDX. I wouldn't get out of it yet. You know, if you want, you could take some profit. Take some profit as you approach 99. Yeah, about 98, 99. Take profit, and then wait for a re-entry. I would do a re-entry if it hits the 200-day here, or if it actually holds with some decent volume here at 99, then maybe take an entry there as well. Add to your position once it gets above. So I'm going to clone this. Okay, so it's a little confusing. I think there may be some resistance here. Okay, but if there's some conviction above it, then there's some conviction above it. There you go, above it. Then add to your position. So that's GDX. It's looking good to the upside, at least for the, for an attempt to fill the gap up here, okay? All right, let's go over to Proctor Gamble. This one is also a good setup for a long. A lot of sideways action here, but my overall prediction remains to the upside. Let's zoom in. Zoom in to see what has happened. Over the past week, you see that price has broken down. Okay, underneath this, what I drew this big green line here as wonderful support. And that's at the price point of 144, 145-ish, okay? And you can see that there's some indecision here. You know, if we were to go to the weekly chart, here's the weekly chart, okay? Weekly chart is like this. And there is, to me, positive momentum. Hence I put the whales here. I'm just looking at this right here, the past couple of days. Past couple of weeks, a lot of indecision, a lot of wicking candles. I mean, look how long those wicks are for all of these weeks. There's a lot of fighting. It's a battleground, but I think it'll hold. So my prediction remains unchanged for Procter & Gamble. It is still to the upside. And I'm just sliding everything to the right. Yeah, this is a good trade. So if you're in it, I'm happy for you. Let's go over to triple Qs. Triple Qs, is behaving as I expected. You know, I drew a couple weeks ago that this will be resistance up here, and I made the call that yes, indeed, price will likely get rejected up there. And look, you can see that. I'm going to move this so we can see it. I'm going to move this to the right. There you go. You can see how prices got rejected up here. And I haven't changed my chart. This is what I drew. Okay. What I'm going to do now is just extend the line just so that this zone of resistance continues. You know, I said this is resistance up here in this line, and indeed it's behaving that way. So now let's assess again how things look. I feel it's still going to be resistance, and there is a gap here. Okay. So I think, you know, it's possible they're going to push it up. Price will come back up, retest resistance again, kind of fill this gap. It's a small gap. I'll just draw it in here. Okay, it's a small one, but they'll, you know, they like to get people guessing, so that it's possible they'll continue to push it up, hit the gap, fill the gap, and hit resistance again, and then more selling. Okay. I'll just kind of slide the 200-day over. There you go, 200-day. There may be a bounce here on the 200-day, but overall the direction is down. The gap to watch out for is here. Yeah, triple Qs and tech sector is behaving as I expected. Let's go over to Microsoft. All right, so Microsoft, I thought that they would manipulate more and push Microsoft up to about this zone before they sell it down, because I talked about this pizza wedge here. So here's your wedge, and wherever price breaks. Okay, so let's move this over. I think price is somewhere here. This broke. Okay, this is no longer in play. Let's delete it. And I'm going to make resistance now at, we'll draw the resistance area here. This is all resistance. Okay, and then I had annotated here that there is bearish momentum likely. Now, I don't see the bearish momentum yet. Okay, so I'll just still leave the dashed line here. In order for bearish momentum to take place, they're going to have to push price up again. So let's say they push price up so that it attempts to hit this 517 zone. So let's say price comes up, hits 517 here. Okay, so somewhere along here they're going to hit resistance 517 to create a higher high than this one. Once they do that, then we have our higher high. This is a higher high than this one, which will actually confirm the bearish momentum change. Okay, so that's coming. So I see price will they'll push price up before they push it down. So I'll just kind of slide this over. Yeah, they'll push price up. But overall, this is not the time to go long. Don't go long Microsoft now. That would be a bad entry. This is a downward move for Microsoft. I'll just kind of slide this over. This is a zone of support down here. That's why I put double green lines. And then there is this big gap, which I haven't annotated. So let's do it here. Big gap, big magnet for price to push down, want to fill. Okay, so that's Microsoft. Over to Bitcoin. All right, so you see how my annotations seem to work. I discussed how the 200-day is resistance. Sure enough, it's there. Now, the question though is this move here with what is, I'll call it a fair amount of volume. This is what, 22,000, whereas all of these are, you know, less than 15,000. So 22,000 is decent volume. Okay, that's decent volume. Not comparable with this one over here, which is 47,000, and the one before it, 42,000. So what I'm thinking is going to happen, and I'm going to annotate it now. Give me a second. I'm going to look at this volume candle here and draw this right there. And then one more real quick. And then this one here. this red candle here. All right. So we're above both of those zones. Okay. So what's going to happen here? Interesting. I don't see any change in momentum. Okay, to the downside. I mean, right here is momentum to the upside for this bit. Hence, I talked about the move up. Okay, I didn't think it would get up here. In fact, I thought it would stay within this wedge. But the question is, did this momentum play out? I don't think it's done yet. I think this move here, they're going to keep going. It's going to keep going. So it's going to bounce around the 200-day a bit. Let's see what will happen if it actually comes up and hits this zone up here. So for now, the next likely move is it'll play around here. Okay, bounce around this zone. And then we'll see. I'm not convinced that the upward move is done. And why is my, tone hesitant? Because I'm not convinced this is a good long entry. Okay, the long entry would have been down here at this support here on the 2nd of July, right? That would have been the nice long entry. But for now, there may not be that much momentum to the upside after this. So I think it's going to fizzle out here. And then further low prices is the general direction. So I'm just going to go like this just to show conviction that I don't think this momentum change is significant enough for folks to get excited and go long in Bitcoin. Over to American Express. I'm just refreshing my memory on what I talked about. We've got the momentum to the downside here with the shark. Price is just moving as I annotated. So no change in momentum. Further low prices remain in play for American Express. The 200 days moving over. I'm going to redraw it real quick just for make it look cleaner. Make it blue. That's a 200-day. You can see price attempted to push through 343. Got rejected today. Indecision candle practically. And yeah, I think it's just further low prices for American Express. Where's the next zone of support? You can say this trend line is a zone of support. But if it breaks further below this trend line, the real next zone of support is down here. I'll just slide this over, okay, for 287. So really, lower prices for American Express. Over to XOM Mobil. Okay, it's behaving as I predicted. I said this is the area of resistance, and indeed it's come up to it. I said price is going to likely keep going. They're going to push it back, and they did. So yeah, no change in the overall direction. I'm still convinced this is lower prices for XOM Mobil. And you can even see momentum change to the downside here. Okay, I'm going to put a shark annotation up here. Yeah, just further low prices, no change. I mean, I think it's finally a move to the downside. It's been a long time coming. I've been waiting for this to actually, yeah. I talked about the baiting here, right? And then a whole bunch of sideways action, the move downward, used the 200-day as support, came back up. Another bait, okay? Another bait. And in fact, yeah, they may push it up even a little bit further. I'm gonna write the word bait over here. They might do it again. So, excuse me. Let's make it red. Right? Can I write with this one? Bait. Oh, it's really hard to write with this. Okay. Bait. I'll even put the fish hook here. The fishing emoji. All right, they're gonna try to fish you right here. Okay. So they're gonna attempt to do it over here in this zone. I'm try to bait you in, give you some excitement, and then only to sell it off again. Okay, so they may even push it up a little bit like that. So I'll go like this. Okay, it may even go up to there to try to bait you in and then sell off with conviction. Okay, I mean, look at the weekly. Here's the weekly. Okay, very clean. All this baiting action here. Prices coming down, it's coming back and retesting. They'll probably bait us again up here, but boom, then that'll be the big selling. Okay. All right. So that's it for this week. Those are the tickers. If you found the video useful, please give me a thumbs up. Like and subscribe my material if you can. Share it with your friends and family. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you want me to review. And as always, good luck with your trades.